Welcome back to another review by Mega Train Lover. Today we're having a look at the first of my Christmas presents today, and as you can see it's by Bachmann and no prizes for guessing what the class is. It is a LNER class V2, and you can also see in the corner that it says exclusive edition, exclusive to Rails of Sheffield, which is where I actually got this model. And the box is the standard Bachmann box which we've been accustomed to for years and years now. And if we turn to the side, you can see product code is 35203Z. It's an LNER V2 class, number 60964, called the Durham Light Infantry, in British Railways lined green with late crest. It says it's 21 pin DCC ready, but I've already fitted it, I've run it in. So yeah, and a lot. That's why, as you can see, it's not in the box. If we turn to the back, you can see, get a bit of information. If you'd like to pause, there we go. But a bit of history about the V2. This was a class of 184 engines built between 1936 and 1944 to the design of Sir Nigel Gresley. And they were used primarily for mixed traffic work. In fact, they were built as mixed traffic engines. Originally, they mostly hauled van trains like fish and whatnot, but eventually they started pulling passenger trains as well. Think of them; they were built to a similar design to the A1s and A3s, but with the front bogie wheel was taken off. Sorry, one of the bogie wheels on the front was taken off, the boiler was shortened and the driving wheels were made smaller. Then you got the V2s. Now none of them were rebuilt A1s, they're all built from scratch. And they worked pretty normal lives. They were, for mixed traffic engines, they had an excellent turn of speed. Rumour has it that some could reach 90, 95 miles an hour. Not aware of any 100 mile an hour records, but definitely kind of in the 90, 95 area. These engines could definitely reach those speeds. Withdrawals started in the late 1950s, and all of them were withdrawn by about 1966. One example has survived into preservation, which is the first member of the class, number 4771 Green Arrow, which is part of the National Collection. And after many years of running on rail tours and on heritage railways, since 2008 she hasn't been in traffic due to cylinder problems, and she's currently on static display at a museum in Doncaster. She's on loan there for a couple of years, after which she'll return back to York. But there is actually a rumour going round that she might actually return to service within the next few years. Whether this is true, not too sure. It's the museum has said so, but things change. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's just a good thing that we do have at least one V2 preserved, because I think they're a fantastic class. Anyway, this particular model is one of the brand new V2s, which was, I think it was only released last year, if I remember correctly, last year or the year before. But this is a product that was announced by Bachmann quite a few years ago, whereby Bachmann have always made the V2. However, the old V2 model was pretty crude. It wasn't up to modern standards. It was good for its time, but I mean, compared to modern standards, I saw one when I was buying my Bachmann B1 at the Bluebell Railway, at one of the one of the model railway stalls. I saw one of the original Bachmann V2s, and it just didn't look up to standards. The smoke box stall's pretty too big. Obviously, it had a split chassis, so it just wasn't up to standard. Bachmann then introduced a version where they kept the same body shell, but they updated the chassis with a 3-pole motor and DCC ready compatibility. Eventually, Bachmann then decided to just basically design a whole new V2 from scratch, which is what this is. And I can assure you that this, having seen the original V2, the original V2 model, this is miles better. So, I'm going to put the box to one side, and we're going to bring the logo. So here is the tender. But we're going to be having a look at the engine first, which is right here. Wow. Well, what can I say? I mean, just look at her. She's absolutely beautiful. So, we'll start with the obvious things. The two lights, these ones are not actually super glued, they're put in by friction. They do come with the detail pack, but I fitted the front brake pipe and the dummy hook. Let's start at the front. You get sprung buffers, as standard. It's got a very, very characteristic look of a Gresley designed engine. It's a beautiful design. And I mean, just the Brunswick green livery is just spot on. I mean, you get the green, the kind of black orange lining. You get the banjo dome, and the nameplates, which you do actually have to fit yourself. Now, it's a bit unusual. Normally you would have nameplates which are not, you basically have like dummy nameplates and then you fit the etched nameplates onto it, but in this case you had to fit the nameplates yourself. Now, from this angle it looks okay, but if you look at the back, yeah, I've had to use, for both sides, yeah, I've had to use blue tack, and it is slightly asymmetrical, but yeah, I basically had to work with. But I mean, I was careful not to use too much. Yeah, it does look a bit. Yeah, from the front, it does look a bit crude, but I mean, yeah, it's okay. It's alright. I mean, you just gotta have to work with what you have, I suppose. But yeah, that's fine. But the nameplates, they look really, really nice. Look at the wheels, just the intricacy of the valve gear. That is just fantastic. And you get separately fitted handrails as standard, running along both sides of the locomotive, of the boiler. And you get all these finer details, such as the lubrication, lamp irons, sandboxes. Yeah, everything you've come to expect from a model of this price, you basically have. I mean, just wow. Just look at it. You can get the reversing rod. It's brilliant. It's a fantastic model. As pointed out, the banjo dome, which is really, really nice. You get the safety valves. The safety valves are made of, seems to be metal. Yeah, the safety valves seem to be metal, but the whistle's made of plastic, which is it's a bit of a shame. I mean, for a model whose RRP is in excess of £200, you would expect a metal whistle, but oh well. One thing which I did find unusual for a Bachmann loco is the fact that the rear wheel set, the car taxi wheel set at the back, is flangeless. Normally you'd expect that on a Hornby model, and Bachmanns are usually flanged, and the wheel itself turns on a radial axle, but here it's flangeless. They do provide a replacement wheel set with flanges in the detail pack, but that's only if you run non-train set curves, which is something I do run, so I'm not going to fit those wheels onto her. But it still looks quite nice. I mean, well, it's just overall, it's just a beautiful locomotive. The cab, wow, that is an excellent cab. There is a feat. You get the regulator, the brake, you get the injectors and all the dials and levers and stuff. One feature which I really like, I'm going to get the uncoupling tool for this. Here's one feature I love. The firebox door covers, you can actually open and close them. So you see, I've closed it, but you can actually open it. Although it's a bit difficult to do behind the camera. Oh, there we go. See, I've opened it. This side as well. There we go. Oh, crikey. It's a bit hard, but there we go. And another thing to point out, the firebox, it does light up. However, it's rather dim compared to other models which I own that have glowing fireboxes, it's rather dim. So it's a bit of a shame, but you know, at least you do have that kind of feature which you would expect. One thing which I'm not really a big fan of is the fact that the roof vents do not open and close. I mean, for the price you pay for this, you would expect little details like that, but yeah. Anyway, one thing which I don't like on this model at all is the engine to tender connection. So if it focuses, come on, camera's finally, there we go. So you get this, so the tool which I use to open the firehole doors. Now, although it looks neat, it's really difficult to separate. So as you can see, you get this lug here. If it focuses again, come on. That's really, oh come on. Fine, let's just put the model in front. So you get this lug here, as you can see, which secures into this hole just beneath the drawbar. And you basically have to push it together. You have to make sure that all 4 pins are correctly lined up. And even pushing them together, it's quite a faff, and you have to make sure that you don't actually bend these pins. But separating them is a bit of a nightmare, because you have to use this tool, this one right here. You have to insert it into this lug, and you push it down, and you have to make sure you don't actually break the lug, because without this the connection would be a hell of a lot less secure. The advantage is that the connection between the engine and the tender is very secure, very secure, but the disadvantage is the fact that, you know, it's not very user friendly. And one thing which I did find quite unusual is the fact that the decoder goes in the locomotive. Oh, sorry, in the engine. So normally you'd expect it to be in the tender. No, it goes in the engine. So that connection only exists so that the tender can pick up power, which is very good, because you know, the more pickups you have, the merrier. But yeah, I mean, Bachmann could have come up with a better solution for the coupling. That's the only thing I majorly dislike about this model. Otherwise, it is a fantastic model, and I absolutely love it. Now we're going to put the engine down, and we're going to bring the tender, which is just as nice as the engine. It's the LNER Group Standard tender. Really nice. I love the British Rail laid crest on here. The coal looks okay. I'm not too sure. I think it is removable. I believe, based on the instructions, it is removable, but I'm not going to attempt to do it now. But you can fit your own coal, which is probably what I'm going to do. At the front, you get the levers for the handbrake and the water scoop, which is really nice. Speaking of the water scoop, this is modelled underneath, and you can see you do have the pickups. Now, the pickups, they only pick up power from the front and rear wheels on the tender. Why that is, I'm not entirely sure. Probably to reduce drag, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure. You get the water filler cap at the back. Not entirely sure what this tank is for. If anyone knows what this tank here is for, please do let me know in the comments below, because I'd really like to know. You get sprung buffers on the back as well, and you get the NEM socket on the back of the tender. And there is a bit of a weight to it, not too much, but yeah, there is. It's not going to, you know, kind of fly off the track or anything. So yeah, it's overall, you know, it's a nice tender. There's not much to say, because there aren't any features in the tender. It's just that connection only exists so it can pick up power. But yeah, overall, brilliant locomotive. It's just this tender to loco connection which I really don't like. I mean, okay, I'm not going to be separating this and then rejoining every time, but yeah, I mean, it could have been better, but yeah, what can you do? Anyway, let's see how this beautiful engine runs, shall we? So here we have the Bachmann V2, the Durham Light Infantry, on the track. And what we're going to do is we're going to select her number and watch her go. And there she goes. Wow. I mean, it took off quite quickly, but I think it's to do with the decoder setting, so I'll tweak with that to make sure it accelerates a bit slower. But yeah, she's running beautifully. Wow. No noise from the motor. Pickups are working very well too. Yeah. Let's get a few shots of her passing. So yeah, beautiful runner. So just to conclude this video, apart from the awkward engine to tender connection, this model is superb, absolutely superb. Of course, a few other slight issues which I did mention, but yeah, no, overall it's a fantastic model, and I'm really pleased with it, and I highly recommend it. If you can get this in any livery, LNER or British Rail, I definitely recommend it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.